smart fares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
Accelerated Graphics and Science 101 East Renfro, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas can handle all of your graphic needs. Need a banner or promotional products for your business? They got you covered. T-shirts and caps for your group. All you need to figure out is if you want them screen printed or embroidered. How about some slick graphics on that hot ride to make you stand out from the crowd? Accelerated Graphics and Science can handle anything you throw at them. Located at 101 East Renfro Street, Sweet C in Burleson, Texas, go in and see them. Call them at 817-991-0523 or reach them on the web at www.acceleratedgraphics.net. They are loud and proud and want to serve you. Accelerated Graphics.
Hey, there's something you forgot to do. It sure is hot. Are you sweating like a dog? Wait, what? Dogs don't sweat. Oh no, you forgot to get your window tinted. Whether it's the kitchen window that sits in the sun for the hottest part of the day, or you just got new wheels, call Sharp Window Tinting in Burleson. 817-615-9379 or look them up on the web, sharpwindowtint.com.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Serving Johnson County, Texas. Joco Community Radio.
Mark, the Dean of Loans.
Yeah.
Should have everybody. I wanted to find something that I hadn't talked about houses. What's funny is everybody can hear me right now. Okay. Hello. Welcome to Real Estate Reality. I am your host, Diana Roberts with eXp, the Cliff Freeman Group, and I've got with me my co-host,
Jason Chandler, Efinity Mortgage.
And
Mark Dean. I'm also with Efinity Mortgage and Homester Home Services.
yay. And then we've got,
John Greco. I'm the CEO at Homester Home Services.
all right. And then,
And Nick Greco, the president of Homester Home Services, one of the co-founders. Happy to be here today.
yes, I'm happy to have you here. Thank you guys for coming. I'm super excited about what we're about to announce, right? Like this is pretty much an announcement. You guys have just kind of basically started this out, right?
It's
Still
been
fresh, a little fresh.
It's still fresh.
Okay.
We've been in development for a little while, but it's still very much in the startup phase.
All right. Well, which one of y'all want to tell us what it's about? Like, who wants to?
I'll give you.
it.
I'll give you a background on how this came out. We
Ooh, I love that, yes.
recently converged into the
Mhm.
Homester project, what we call the Homester Hookup. It's a concierge service, very personal, that realtors can offer to their clients. And we set up all the utilities. It's a gift to take some of the balls out of the air while they are moving in. And what happened was, outside of the utilities, people moving into new homes would also ask us for, do you know a painter? Do you know a lawn guy? Do you know a pool guy? And because we make it personal and a gift from the realtor to help build their relationship with the client, we wanted to take care of these people. And so what we did was we made the dubious mistake of going to Home Advisor.
Okay, gotcha.
And just to explain how they work, whenever you request a service on Home Advisor, Angie's List, they're selling your information to every contractor advertising in that zip code. And so the client now is getting phone calls from 20, 25, 30 guys.
Yeah.
They're annoyed as heck, right? And so we couldn't have that because these people happen to be clients of our realtor partners.
Right.
So we couldn't believe how bad that situation was. Like, how does this work? How do they operate like that? Because on the other side of that coin, you have 25 service professionals paying for the same lead.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got my two co-founders here with us. We came up with the idea of developing our own app that would give people some level of exclusivity, right? Where there'll only be 3 quality companies that we pre-vetted in the app that they could choose from. But any service they need in their home, they could go to the app. They could pick one out of the 3 and get their job done without being interrupted by, inundated with phone calls and emails and text messages for 5 days.
Right. Well, I love that. That's great information too, especially for consumers, because consumers don't want their information just being spread out and put out there we already get enough phone calls, I feel. Just random phone calls from random phone numbers. So I think that that's really awesome. And I think the consumers will really love that. So so that's how you guys got started. So what we can, yeah.
They did. And so how we, came together with this concept is we both met at a networking event, out of all things, for realtors. And I overheard John and Nick speaking about lead generation and how can we get these companies that they keep getting asked questions, how can we provide a better platform for just consumers, homeowners, landlords, where it's not so inundated with national brands or swamped with them. We wanted to support local. And local, to me, is really, really important. In a time, where we're post-COVID, and there's never been a more important time than to purchase things from the community, support the community, give back to the community. And so we wanted a space that you can put 3 small to mid-sized family-run home service professionals. These are people that could be painters, drywall, flooring, anything that you would need done to your house. We're going to have a solution for. But they're all local, small to mid-sized run family businesses that have been in business for 5+ years. And they go through our vetting process. So we are eliminating the headache of actually searching for a quality service provider. We've done that for them. We've done the research, we've done the digging, but they also interview with us. They answer a questionnaire with us. But we want to make sure that at the end of the day, those homeowners get the absolute best service they can for our local solutions we have available.
That sounds great. I think that they're going to, I know for me, I appreciate that too, because I love being able to give concierge programs to my buyers, because it just helps them be able to, it's easier, then they're not constantly asking me for the sellers. Well, who did the seller have? What did the seller have? How long did the seller have that? All those questions do get brought up throughout that whole transaction. So, and just to be able to say, hey, this is the number you contact to get all of your services set up. If you have any other services that you need, they have this provided to you too. So I wanted to, will you go over that with us too? I know that there's like painters and things like that, but I know you were saying that there was more more than just when a buyer purchases. This could be good for anybody that may have even been in their house and they're looking for, some kind of service, right?
Yeah. So here's the dynamic of kind of the story of the company in general and kind of how we've integrated both of those pieces. We started out as a concierge, and that's where we met Mark at a realtor networking event, like he said. And so we were operating that business model. We really loved it, but we would run into these contractors at these networking events also, and just kind of asking them, hey, what else are you guys doing for marketing? Like Mark said, we kind of bonded over that. And this topic of what they were doing with these big home services platforms came up. So we saw a hole there. And so we decided to build the app, which is, like you said, you can get pretty much any service that you need done for your home through the app. We've brought it down to where we took a lot of the guesswork and the heavy lifting out so that we can make it as easy as possible. And so what we've done just recently is we've kind of merged the two businesses together to where now the concierge, which we've kind of rebranded as the Homester Hookup, is actually available right there within our app as well. So it's a lot more seamless than it used to be. So any realtor, any real estate professional that's got a client moving into their home, they can go directly to the app, fill out the form, give us their client's information. Anyone who's moving into a new home can go do that on their own, but also it's integrated into the app where it has all of the other listings for any other type of service that you need for your home. So we've kind of put them all together in one tidy place in the Homester app, which is really cool for us that we've kind of put those together.
And speaking of the Homester Hookup, Nick, tell them kind of what happens if I were to have a buyer in my mortgage business. They're buying a new home. They're a first-time home buyer. Most, I don't want to say are clueless, but they just don't know. You don't know what you don't know. And they don't know the amount of work that goes into setting up your utilities. So when you move in, they're good to go. Turning on your electric, getting the water set up. But walk us through when a client comes to y'all through the Homester Hookup, what do y'all do on the back end and what kind of services do you help them with?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's a great question, Mark. So with the hookup, the front end process is very easy. Like I said, you go in there, we've got a simple form, tell us who your buyer is, when they're moving in, what's their closing date, what's their new address, what's their old address in case there's any services that have to be transferred over. Hit send, and that comes to us. We schedule the call with your client, and we posture it the whole time as a gift from you, the real estate professional, to their client. We thought that it was better than a cutting board because we're taking a lot of time off of these people's hands. And to Mark's point, we're dealing with these people that maybe it's a first-time home buying situation. They don't really understand all of the different processes that go into it. We have a lot of people moving in from out of state. They've never heard of deregulated electricity. I just get it from, there's one choice in California or Utah, wherever they're coming from. And so helping them navigate all of those different choices is big for these people. They're going through the process of buying a home. It's exciting. One of our taglines on our website is moving into a home or buying your dream home is the dream. Moving into it isn't. Like people, they want this home ownership, but the process of going into it is terrible. So we set up everything from their electricity, water, gas, home phone, home internet. No one gets a home phone. You can get it.
Some still want it.
Yeah.
if you work from home, maybe.
So we set up those services and everything from, those are the initial core home services that we set up, but then we kind of integrate the Homester app into it and telling them, hey, if you need anything else, a lot of people don't understand that maybe you should get a locksmith to get the home rekeyed when you move in. We've heard stuff from, we had a lady over here in Weatherford, we bought this big house out on 5 acres. There's a tree in the driveway. The moving truck can't get to the garage. Do you have a tree guy? So that's kind of like where the migration into the rest of the services happens. But as far as the hookup goes, it's all of those, we call them the essential home services. So your electricity, water, gas, and kind of going through that, getting the best prices for them that are available to them in their area. But a lot of it is just taking that headache off of their hands so that they can focus on enjoying that time with their family. And especially in today's market, like getting into a new home is harder than it's been in years.
Oh, yeah.
People are at war. So the last thing they want to worry about is, well, what are the ins and outs of getting my city water hooked up? Because every city's different and They're run by the government, so they're not super efficient. And so we just help get everything set up for them so they can focus on the joy of moving to the new home. And then, like we said, we kind of tie it in a bow and posture it nicely, like, hey, well, this is a gift from your realtor. She loves you. She knows that it's an exciting time. So we always kind of put that emphasis on it as a customer experience enhancer from the real estate professional to the person moving into their new home.
Well, I'm so excited because I love that.
Well, and that's awesome. Let me ask y'all something. And John, you can answer this. Nick, Mark, okay. So first of all, I do cutting boards. All right. But they're good cutting boards.
Right.
I don't want to downplay the cutting boards. I'm sure they're great.
Half my people won't even use them. They want to post them. One actually used a pot, used it for to put a pot on. I don't know what she's thinking. But anyway, I like that. But I do like, yes, here's something that goes a little bit above, a decoration, right? So do you keep the relationship with these people? I mean, is it your goal to, yes, they're thinking about utilities, what's it going to take to get in, by the time I close, I want water, electricity, but then they're not even thinking about down the road painting for the house, improvements they're going to want to do, landscaping, all that. So you keep that relationship going with the people to try to keep them as maybe constant partners.
Yeah, let me elaborate on that part of the business because I think it's really important and it's a big part of homes to home services, the service end. When we have a client through the Homester Hookup that we're representing, the realtor, and I'll give you an example of one we just recently did. Got a couple moving in from California. They're buying a house that has solar on it. And I'm working with the client as they're traveling because they're moving. They're actually driving from California here. And she says, don't worry about the electricity. We already took care of the electricity. And so we are setting up the rest of the utilities. And they get into town and she's got her husband's handicapped. They've got a few kids and it's her. And there's no electricity, which we hate. This is our thing, right? But what happened was she signed paperwork to take over solar. She didn't understand that didn't mean she had an electric plan. Right? Yeah, so we go to work right away that day. And of course, it was late in the day. We were able to get an electric plan set up. It was going to be turned on the next day. But that evening, they had been traveling. We sent them pizza and wings and Cokes to their house where they were going to be spending the night. They were so grateful, called us up, and we tell them, you need to call and thank your realtor. They're the one providing this, which I had to quickly text the realtor and let them know that they provided that because they didn't know. But those are the type of things that we do. And then I get calls constantly from clients we moved in a year ago. Can you help me with my electric rate? Can you? So they keep that going. But after they move in, part of the process now, the standard process, we set up the utilities. We have a checklist that we send for anything else, things that are often requested, like locksmiths,
right,
painters. We send them that checklist, and the last thing we do is we have them download the app. We say this is an app that you can get any service you're going to need in the future. It's going to be easy to find, especially if you're new to the area, instead of having to go through Google, searching through 50 searches, trying to contact people. These are already vetted. So after you move in, this is where you want to be. Now, where these two merge together is when people are moving into a home and we send them that list and they go, yeah, I want to have it pest sprayed before I move in. I want to have a deep cleaning before I move in. All of those leads we share with our partners that are on the app. So they get a lot of work from the concierge side, not just the people using the app.
Nice.
And that's how those fit together.
So do you guys have like a home decor person too? Like that does like decorating, like home decorating?
I was just introduced to someone who's not on the app who does home organizing. I guess shelving in the garages and in the, we don't have that on the app, but we're constantly adding things. It's a, when you have an app, it's never a completed project. It's like fashion, right? It just keeps going and going, and then there's something else. And I'll be honest with you. These are the two guys you should talk to. Nick has been on the back end of this for a long time. Mark is the vice president in marketing, has done phenomenal
I
ads.
believe that.
We have some hilarious ads that are on YouTube that these clowns put together. It's actually pretty funny. We kind of got lucky that we got like a professional videographer that owns part of the company.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
But anyway, talk to these guys because
Yeah. What else you guys got? Like, what else can you tell us about? I know it's. I think it's really incredible, and that you guys are putting this out here, that you saw and recognized a previous or another company, I should say, a competitor basically, but not too much of a competitor, because honestly, I don't want my information being sold to anybody else. So I think that's huge knowledge for the consumers, for one, right? But for two, to be able to have somewhere easily, an easy app, easy access to all of these different, individuals or services that you need when you move into a house. It does take a lot of that stress out. And I love that you guys are really emphasizing on the realtor too. Thank you for that. I know how I'm sending my people to.
And you have it helps ease the aches and pains of buying a home.
Yeah.
But it also helps ease the aches and pains of maintaining the home. And me being, mortgage professionals who my day job, that's who I go to first. That's Mark, the Dean of Loans.
Right.
But I consistently maintain my relationships with all of my past clients. And I'm always getting the calls of, Mark, we went and we hired this guy off Craigslist, but we're just not satisfied with the work. That's where our brains came together and said, how can we solve just that problem? How can we solve the issue of finding a quality home service professional? And so if you were to go on our app, as of today, right now, there's two facets. You have the Homester Hookup. That's what Nick just went over, where we're going to help get you into your home. We're going to help you set up all the utilities. That way, when you close and you sign and walk into that home, it's ready to go. Lights are on, electricity's on, the AC is blowing, especially today. Oh my gosh, we need the AC going. But then we also provide the platform for maintaining the home. So down the road, as you settle in and you start organizing your house, you might want to paint a room. You might want to redo the floors, or you might want to do something that you just may not have the skill set, or just may not know anyone to do it. And so Homester itself has taken DFW, the Metroplex. We've divided it into 9 territories. There's really no rhyme to the reason. We just kind of marked it all out and made North Dallas, South Dallas, Tarrant County, Johnson County. But in each service, you're going to select where you live. And then you're going to be able to see a full arsenal of services we currently have active on the app. So if you wanted to set up Christmas lights come the holiday seasons, you can go to our Christmas light section and select the providers we have.
Sweet.
Super simple. They're all local people. And that's where I get so much passion. It makes my hair stand up just talking about it, is we're supporting local businesses. Yeah. And that to us means more than any dollar amount you could ever put above this thing.
Yeah.
It's a gift that keeps giving. I mean, that's, if you can keep that relationship. I mean, Christmas lights. There it is, seasonal stuff.
Yes.
The stuff that you don't think about when you're first buying your home. You're not worried about that stuff, but it becomes very important.
Yeah. One of the things that I always tell our realtor partners, and I got this actually from a friend of Mark's. I was at the event with Mark that we talked about when we met, and he's got a kid there, and I am horrible with names. He's got a kid there. His name's Silas. And he's showing me this app called Blink, where someone could just scan the QR code on my watch and my contact information goes into their contacts. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. And so I download that app on there, and I recognized that every day I'm scrolling through my phone, and subconsciously or consciously sometimes I pass that app and I think Silas. That's why I've always remembered his name. I'm like the worst with names. If you give me the last 4 of your social, I remember you forever, but I'm terrible at names. And so I tell the realtors to have, we're going to also reinforce this, but have your clients download the app, because every time they see that app, they're going to think of you 6 months from now. When someone says, hey, do you know a realtor? They're going to say your name and they won't even know why. Right. So I think that would help if the realtors would have all their clients download the app, and then it's a way for them to keep connected with their client.
Right. Yeah, no, I love that. I think that's very important. I like those apps too, because it keeps them connected with me. if I can give them an app that helps benefit them and helps work for them, like Crime Watchers, or I love giving my clients apps like that. Like if you're really concerned about this area, that's where you need to go to Crime Watchers, download the app, and you can see all of the different crimes that are going on in that area and see if that's a good area for you and your family. And so now I'm sure, like what you said, whenever they're like, oh, I need to figure out what this area is, where are we? And they're going on there, Diana. Thank you, Diana.
And to your point from earlier, Jason, and I don't mean to personally attack the cutting boards, but when we were, when we were still just operating the concierge service, which was called Hello Honeydew at the time, we knew that we wanted to build an app. We didn't really know what it was yet. But one of the problems that we understood that our real estate partners was, and when we say realtor, like we kind of work with anyone that's got a client moving into a home. It could be a mortgage guy, it could be a realtor, homeowners insurance. One of the things that we realized was that a problem for them, and one of the things they needed to get solved was, they wanted a way for their clients to remember them, because we knew that one of the biggest sources of deal flow is from existing clients, right? And so it's a constant battle. Like, hey, how am I going to stand out from everyone else? How am I going to make my client remember me 6 months, 8 months, 24 months down the road when their sister from Minnesota says, hey, I'm looking to move to Texas. Who's your guy? Oh, just go to Google. Instead of that, we wanted to say, hey, our realtor was Diana. She was fantastic. She offered this service. And so we wanted to create that experience that stood out with the concierge. And then we wanted to make it sticky, like John was just talking about, where, beyond just the experience, they had something physical that they could remember and see often. So with that synergy between, because people that are our age, they love experiences. They don't just want something, the millennials, the younger, they love that experience. And so when we're providing that for them, then we can stamp something on there too and say, hey, we just provided you something that's really great, really beneficial that you're going to remember. It saved you a lot of time, a lot of headache. And then we say, hey, here's something also that's going to live on your phone that you'll scroll past 20 times a day as you go to Instagram. And we felt like that was kind of the best. And then the idea for Homester just kind of took off and took shape from there. But we knew that we wanted to build an app that would stick on someone's phone so that they could kind of support the idea of, we want to be able to help these real estate professionals be sticky with their clients and be in their memory after their initial transaction.
And well, it goes into when we've had guests here talking about just straight social media and stuff. You've got the biggest group of home buyers now are the millennials, but then you have Gen Z coming up, your young 20-year-olds, and they want it all and they want it now.
Yeah.
And it's like, seems to be like the Homester. Hey, there it is.
That'd be perfect for them.
You want it? Yeah. So, yeah.
One of our biggest phrases we use is making your life easy.
Yeah.
It's a one-stop shop where we have done all the pre-vetting work for you. All the nitty-gritty is usually how I describe it, but all the items you would want these contractors to be, high quality, they're going to do what's right. Everyone's human. There are times where mistakes happen.
Yeah.
How do these service providers handle those? And those are questions we actually ask up front. And I don't want to say grill them, but we will run through scenarios with every business we get on here to make sure that when they go out to any user's home, they're getting the best and utmost highest quality work. And that's what's important to us, is that aspect.
Yeah, I absolutely love that too, because I got some horror stories on that, but I think we'll have to tell you. We'll talk about that when we get back. I'll give you guys some examples of what's happened to me in the past with buyers calling me later after already purchasing the property and wanting some, people that do things that I've met but never knew what their work was. So, but yeah, we'll go into that when we come back. We are going to be going to a quick break here in just a little bit. But in the meantime, I think this is so great. I mean, what about you, Jason? I mean,
oh yeah,
I would recommend this to anybody.
And it's easy.
Yeah.
But if you're recommending it as the professional, as a realtor or the mortgage loan officer or whoever, if you're recommending going, look, everything you're going to need, a lot of things walking in, especially a first-time home buyer.
Yeah.
But anybody, but you're going to need so many things that you're not even thinking of right now.
No.
Well, you can call me anytime. You can text me. But man, here's an app that's going to help.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got everything, and these guys are going to jump on it for you. So yeah, I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, because
Great
the first thing
concept.
they're thinking of is the furniture, right?
Yep.
Where am I going to put all this furniture?
Yeah.
And then they don't think about, well, okay, now I've got landscaping. I was in an apartment before this. Like, what do I do with landscaping? Who do I even contact? I guess I could call my mom, and ask her who she uses. But then now we can take that, we eliminate that. Now it's like, hey, remember the people that helped us with our getting our utilities on? Hey, they said that they've got all this stuff too. Let's look at that app again. And that makes it like, I feel like that would be so much easier.
Those are both separate tiles on the front page of the app.
Okay.
So the realtor uses the one that says the Homester Hookup, but the first tile on the top left is requesting a service.
And I'll drop a user feed on how to actually use the app into the comment section here.
Okay, awesome. Yes, we're going to drop that in a little bit. Guys, we're going to break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We got a lot more information on this for you. All right. See you soon.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Out of dead carpet giving you the blues? Tired of your old dingy and broken tile? Let my friends at the Floor Store in Cleveland, Texas give your home the makeover it deserves. This is Old Taco Joe coming to you for the Floor Store. Whether it's carpet, tile, wood flooring, or real wood laminate, the Floor Store can cover all of your flooring needs. Located at 405 West Henderson Street in Cleveland, Texas, owner Brent Harris can help. Shower tile, tub surrounds, even backsplashes. Give them a call today at 817-641-9444. The Floor Store, they got you covered.
When you're hungry for tender brisket or some delicious homemade cobbler, then look no further than Leech Brothers Barbecue, located at 1106 East Henderson in Cleveland, Texas. Leech Brothers has been family-owned and operated since 1950. Take it from me, Taco Joe Orwinski. Todd and his family have been filling my belly breakfast, lunch, and dinner for a long time. Heck, I even have my own booth. Open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. Come see them for dine-in, carry-out, and all your catering needs.
Serving Johnson County, Texas. Joco Community Radio.
Let's go 26 seconds.
All right. Joco Community Radio is proud to be the voice of Johnson County, Texas, and is live 365 on the TuneIn Radio Network. To listen or watch, simply go to tuneinjoco.com to choose where and how. The Joco Community Radio app is now available for free on Android and Apple devices. Simply search your store. Check out our lineup and more on jococommunityradio.com. This episode and more brought to you by Patriot Claims, making your insurance work for you. Reach out to your Texas sales rep, Nona Reed, at 844-839-4245. All right, welcome back. We still have our homesters with us. Did I say, yeah, okay. I was like, Nick gave me this look like maybe I didn't say that right. I was like, wait.
No, that's it.
All right. So I think we were talking about, some other things that you guys definitely wanted to talk about and touch base on. So what do you guys want to start with? I've got like the testing, business side. What you guys want to start with?
I'll talk about a little bit more about the story.
Yes.
Because a lot of the idea for Homester was actually crystallized down here in Johnson County in Burleson, because Mark has always operated his mortgage side down here. So when we were initially meeting with him, just here on this Logan's Roadhouse here on 35 is where a lot of it happened. And we started to get the idea for what we wanted it to be like, hey, let's have 3. The original idea for 3 was maybe we can have kind of a bigger guy, like a smaller guy, and then someone local. And it just kind of turned into, hey, we want to support really strong, high integrity local businesses. So we've been attending a lot of these realtor networking events, and it's always interesting. You got other contractors there, and it's always a little bit loose at the realtor events after a while.
Yeah, sure.
And so we start turning to some of these guys like, hey, what else are you doing for marketing besides getting realtors drunk? What about Home Advisor? What about Angie's List? Just because we knew that those are the big names, right?
Yeah.
And they start popping off, telling us what they think was wrong with them. But I'd never really had an experience at the time. I was living in a high rise in Dallas, so I didn't really have, I don't have a yard that I'm maintaining anything. So just here at this Logan's in Burleson, I said, you know what? I want to test this out for myself, but I don't want to get like totally blown up. Like, I'm not going to say that I need a roof or anything because probably get 50 calls. Like, I wanted to pick something really niche that I didn't think I'd get a ton of traction, but I just wanted to test it out. So I put in a request. I wanted to do bathroom tile remodel because I felt like that was kind of niche enough to where it wouldn't be just complete anarchy. And no joke, as soon as I hit submit, before 5 seconds, I'm getting a few automated text messages. We're getting phone calls. Like, the race is on. And that's for a bathroom tile remodel in Johnson County.
Nice.
And so that was kind of the first moment that we had tested that hypothesis that, hey, maybe there's something wrong here, and kind of eye-opened like, oh, okay, like if this is happening for this, what if I need, what if I'm trying to get a general contracting quote and I live in North Richland Hills or in Fort Worth? These customers are just absolutely getting hammered. And then we realized too that it's really bad for the contractors because as we got to get to know them, we heard the horror stories. I know we want to talk about some of the horror stories that you've seen your clients. Yes. We get horror stories. A guy pays, $100 for a lead that he gets through one of his other platforms. He shows up and he's the 5th truck that's there. Like, there are already trucks there, not even just calling him. And then one of the dynamics that we wanted to solve too, where Mark had touched on, we want to be kind of champions for the small local business owner also, because we're all entrepreneurs. If I'm a solo operator air conditioning guy, I don't have a receptionist answering my phone. I may be up, fixing something in someone's attic, looking at something. So if I get a call right away, I might not be able to get to it. But if that happens with one of these other services, if you wait 5 minutes, you're toast. Like 15 other people have already called them. And so we wanted to create something that on that end helped solve the problem for both ends, for the consumers and the contractors on that as well.
We wanted to eliminate 15, 30 calls going to the consumer, but we also wanted to eliminate the business owner getting the business, not playing what I call a rat race, first call, first serve.
Yeah.
I wanted to go directly to them. And so the concept is really designed for that. It's not designed to spread all of these work orders throughout everyone.
Right.
But if you were to go right now, Diane, and submit a work order for, let's just say, a roof, and you submit it to Mark Dean's Roofing Company, well, that work order is coming directly from you to me with no middle ground or no middleman in the middle of this.
Oh, sweet. Okay. Sweet. So is that really helping? So do you guys have those that are just like a solo act basically? And so they're the only ones that run the show and they're able to still be able to get to them still pretty, rapidly or quickly. And you've noticed that, or do you guys ever have anybody that kind of falls off because maybe it's not working out like after the interview section of it?
Yeah. So, kind of to talk to that point, as Mark talked about earlier, I'm a really big believer in treat the source, not the symptom. And so one of the things that we wanted to do like beforehand is say, hey, we're going to go through our own personal vetting process. We want to meet these owners. We want to talk to them ourselves. We want to see if they're high integrity. And so we do our best on the front end. And we didn't want to discriminate against like, hey, we want someone that does really good quality work, whether it's a small to medium size, kind of more on the small end, but we don't really want to get into, and I won't mention any names, but when we were very first starting and kind of selling to these small and medium sized guys, one of the things we talk about is like, hey, we're not even inviting these big companies out there, the guys that got their face on the side of their truck, they got 100 trucks around town, they can spend $100,000 a month with these platforms. Like, we want to be champions for the small entrepreneur, whether it's solo, whether he's got a small fleet, So there's kind of a range. It was more important for us, besides just size, to make sure that it was really high integrity people that did good work, that had aggregate good reviews on every platform. We check their Google, we check their Facebook. We want to make sure they've got a decent presence online, so it shows that they have some integrity in their business. So that's kind of how we've gone about sourcing and trying to get rid of that work that could be the messy stuff down the road, try and get in front of it, say we only want to let not just anyone who will pay us money, but we want to let really high integrity people on the app who are going to do good work, and who are going to stand by their performance, and that have been proved by the social proof that exists online.
Sweet. Okay. So that's even better, I think, for the consumer, because now they know that, okay, if I do use this app, I'm only getting the best of the best out there, but local businesses that are still trying to grow.
It's the Forrest Gump. It's just one less thing. You
Yeah.
got enough problems to worry about. Is this guy going to come and charge me a bunch of money for work he's not going to do? Well, I want to hear about some of the horror stories that you'd mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
But
Ooh.
they're out there on the contractor side, and we want to make sure that no one experiences that through Homester, because we want to only work with people that we know are going to do really high quality, good work.
Yeah. And honestly, I would have loved to have had the service. So I had a gentleman that was out of town that was selling a property here in Texas. I was the listing agent, and there was a lot of stuff. We of course, since he was out of town and this was an estate kind of situation, I made sure he did an inspection prior to, so that we could see there was not going to be any, he didn't live in the house. So let's know what's going on with the house before we go ahead and get it listed, so that we're aware. I really feel that's very important for the consumer, right? And also, there's not that buyer seller, well, this needs to be fixed, and it's not a lot of back and forth. Now the seller already knows what's going on, right? So I had that done. And then there was quite a bit of like plumbing, and there was some other stuff that needed to be done. And so here I am here in Texas. He's not in Texas. So I'm helping out as much as I can, and I had he wasn't able to find a plumber. Like, he was like, Diana, I just don't know anybody in that area. I don't live there. And, they didn't have anybody that, were friends of his that live in Texas, that were neighbors. And so I was like, okay, I've got a friend that is. So I had a friend of mine. This is a friend. Go out, and it did not go. Let me just say, I'm not going to put names out there or anything, or even the address of this property, but the work was just not done, and it was not done effectively. And there was some communication issues between the seller and the plumber. And so I had to then undergo more research. And luckily I was able to come up across a contractor that does everything. And so he primarily did the rest of all of the work that was needed to be done. And I would definitely highly recommend him. But that was like where, those things happen with realtors. I have a lot of times where I have estate sales situations, and we want to do an inspection first. I don't want to list that property without us knowing what's going on with the house, especially if they didn't live there.
Right.
We don't know the maintenance. We don't know any of that. So we need to figure out what's going on. And so that was one of my horror stories. There was another horror story where there was this house that my client was kind of interested in, but it still needed a lot of contracting work done. And this was the buyer. And so we go look at this house, but again, it needed some contracting work, and because they didn't finish. Well, we went and walked in the house, and it was terrible work. That's probably why they were no longer finishing the job. But also I found out later that the contractor stole that person's money. Do not pay them up front. Ever. Never pay them up front. Not until the job's done. But, or have like a very specific contract, a contract, binding contract, know where their address is, know all the information that you need to have. I'm sure you guys know. And that's probably some of the questions that you ask these contractors too. Like, how do you expect to be paid and when? Right. Cause that's happened a lot. I've heard a lot of horror stories where people have been, they've paid half of it.
Though, right? You don't ever, I've been burned. We probably all have, by a contractor that, you don't pay them up front until it's, it's complete. Right. Yeah.
And these stories, we can probably all go around this table telling handfuls of these stories, because we hear them all the time, especially being in the line of work we're in.
Yeah.
And that's the pride moment, is eliminating the worry, not even the work being done, but the worry of knowing if they are quality.
Yeah.
Let's make your life easy. we did it for you.
Well,
See, I love that.
what did she say though at the end of that? Boy, I would use that one contractor that came in. That'd be the one that you'd be like, you need to get with Homester.
Yes.
So that's where, to me, y'all would get the real quality when you've got realtors, leaders, whoever going, man, this guy did really good work.
So
this lady did good work.
Yeah, and speaking of that, just to kind of give everyone out there an idea of where we stand, we just launched. And when I say just launched, this was January of last year. That was our first year. Let's get this off and running. Let's see what we can do. And ultimately, let's see where we can end up a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road. That being told, we are in the process right now of what I call phase 2 of our growth, where we would like to add about another 1,000 small to mid-sized businesses.
Nice.
These are everyone in DFW. Like I said, it could be somebody in Mansfield, somebody in Dallas. So if you know somebody and you respect the quality of work they do or their integrity, don't shy away from sending them to us, because we would love to talk to those people. Those are the ones we want, that you've had a personal experience. You know what the work is. And that's what we're going for.
Right. And my husband does HVAC.
Oh, there you go. Let's talk to him.
Oh, yeah.
To Mark's point, you mentioned earlier, like, hey, do you have someone that does interior design? Kind of how that's worked as far as our roadmap. We started out kind of with the first 20 or so core business units that we felt like people would need when they move into their home, kind of the most requested services. And how it's migrated from there is like we run into a contractor who's a fencing guy in Keller. Hey, do you have fencing guys on there? No, not yet. Like, we have a roadmap for about 80 to 100 services, depending on how granular we want to get, that we want to be represented in the app, that we just haven't put on yet because we don't want to put an empty category.
Right.
But we have that roadmap. And so it's kind of migrated depending on the territory and which businesses we have represented there. We're up to anywhere between 40, 60 different categories. And so, like, when we run into people, and if you have recommendations for someone that does quality work, we may not have that represented on the app yet, but the odds are that we have that on the roadmap. And that's kind of how we've kind of migrated to now. We've got a lot more services than the initial ones that we started with, because we meet someone who says, the person at Mark's office, hey, my son-in-law does really good HVAC work. He's doing this. Here's his card. Reach out to him. So we appreciate the introduction if you know high quality contractors that want to be represented and be kind of part of something that's initially happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Now, I do have one question. The home warranty situation on this. A lot of times the buyers get home warranties on there, and they can some of those home warranties can only allow them to hire certain people. Is there some of that that's also incorporated on your app, so that if they do have that home warranty, they can still look at the app and see, hey, if you've got this home warranty, these are the people to contact? Or is that an idea that I just threw out there and you're
I'll speak to that a little bit, and then I'll let Mark speak to it,
Okay.
since that's a lot of his world.
So he would know. I figured. I was like, he's got something up his sleeve.
Through the whole process, we've wanted to make it as simple as possible. And so we understood that there could be some sticky situations with home warranty, as far as, hey, if someone has a home warranty through someone, they may only be able to use their preferred vendors. And so, there's nothing really we can do around that. We just wanted to offer everything to everyone. We don't have home warranty represented on the app, kind of for that reason.
Okay, gotcha.
Because we don't want there to be conflict or kind of a sticky situation. But we've tried to do everything we can to keep it as simple as possible.
Yeah, and so I can just speak firsthand. One, I'm a big advocate of home warranties. I've had one on my house the last 6 years. I've probably run about $90,000 through this thing. Everything that could go wrong went wrong, and it just went wrong. But on the flip side, you can, and this is something I experienced, being a co-founder of Homester, I know everything we have, all the companies we have on there. Although your or whoever's home warranty may not allow you to use another service, you can always ask for the home warranty to entertain using them. Right. So out of the times I used my home warranty, I was able to get with my warranty company and say, hey, I have these 3 people. They're highly vetted. Here's the quality of work they do. Is this something y'all would consider using? And so what I did is I took the quote from the service providers on Homester, emailed them to my home warranty, and they ended up accepting them.
Sweet.
And so everything in it, at least to me, is negotiable. You can always ask them, but it takes asking that question. And so not all home warranties will be the same. Of course, each one is unique and different in themselves, but most will entertain the idea of taking a local, small to a mid-size home service provider. And so it's always worth sending in that question, because then we have done all your pre-vetting work. You know who's coming to your home because we've done that legwork for you.
Yeah. And I mean, home warranty companies may I don't know really how they draw from some of the people that they use. I'm not really sure, but I think that that's very important information to the buyer, because now they know, okay, look, well, I'm still going to use Homester because they've already done all the work for me on the homework end of it. And I'm going to know I'm getting somebody trustworthy to conduct the service in my home.
And
so that's awesome.
And warranty companies don't cover everything.
No.
So they're not going to send somebody out to mow your lawn.
No.
I'm just going to tell you right now, they're not going to do it.
Or pest control. I don't think they do pest control either.
And so there's a lot of items as a homeowner and buying a home. There's a lot of items you just don't think about until it breaks in your house.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And so you go through the panic mode of, well, who do I hire? Let me, usually my first train of thought, let's go to Facebook. Ask all my friends who has recommendations. Let's go to Google. Well, now you're taking up a lot of your time because you're waiting for all the responses on Facebook. You're also spending minutes, if not hours, sifting through Google reviews. And Google reviews can be misleading because you just never know who is leaving the review. Yeah. And so Homester kind of conquers that mindset and gives people the ease of knowing these people are high quality.
I gotta say, I'm going to use the app now because y'all got me sold.
One of the things that we realized kind of in the early stages that I wouldn't have guessed is the number one way that people find a home service provider is by asking for people on Facebook. Like, hey, my AC just went out. Who's your AC guy?
Yeah.
And kind of one of the things that we kind of kicked around at the office, or just kind of like as a funny slogan, is I don't know that I want to be trusting the people that are coming out of the woodworks to comment on all kind of Facebook posts. Like, maybe there's a little screw loose when people are coming out of the woodworks and randomly commenting, and you never know if this guy is so-and-so's cousin, or if this guy is so-and-so's like kind of friend from high school that they know have a business. And so, not to knock anyone who, I'm sure there's good quality work that people know, and word of mouth is valid and one of the highest ways to exchange business. But we wanted to kind of take that a next step further and tighten that up a little bit than just asking for high school friends you haven't talked to in 12 years who they know who does yard work.
Right. Or they hadn't used them in years and the company is completely different now.
or they're bankrupt, right?
Yeah.
You never know. Yeah. Hey, with 7 minutes left, and if I'm sitting here listening to this, I'm like, man, this all sounds great and all that. And, it's a gift from the realtor. That's awesome. But nothing's free. So how's this being done?
Okay. Which part specifically?
How's Homester?
1,000% free for any user that wants to use the app. There will never be a charge. You can download it. You can also go to our website, which is homesterhomeservices.com. We have a web version of our app. So you don't technically need to download the app itself. You can go online and use the app. So anyone using the app or needs a home service provider, 1,000% free. It's never going to be a charge there.
Yeah, in fact, let me add to that, because we have the most activity in Homester right now is in Northeast Tarrant County, Fort Worth, and we are moving focus to Johnson County. So if you own a business, or if you know someone that owns a business, reach out to us on our Facebook page, because we will list you if you meet our qualifications at no cost. So you can be part of the Homester family moving forward. And like I said, a lot of these people that use the app randomly will give you calls. People that we get from the concierge business that need service, we share with our partners that are on the app, obviously. So take advantage of that, because there's only 3 contractors per heading.
Gotcha.
Right. So
that's it.
First come, first serve. If you qualify, we're pretty stringent on qualifying.
And how many categories do you think you got on there so
well,
far?
There's right now probably
it varies a little bit from territory to territory, just based on how many people we've had ask to open new spots. But every territory has between 40 and 60 now of different service categories that are available for you to choose between.
Well, she brought up the garage deal. You know, all of a sudden, your garage used to be, you take care of it, you set it up, and now it's like, no, people hire professionals, shelving, it's stuff's hanging from the ceiling. It's incredible what people do with their garages now, and they're like, oh yeah, I had this company come in, and that's just something new that wasn't around. I don't know how long's it been around.
That's niche.
Yeah,
that's
pretty.
niche.
I think we
That's
can
real
thank
niche.
Marie Kondo for a lot of those types of businesses, right?
Yes. And the flooring that they put in these garages now,
epoxy flooring's cool.
Yes, I love it. It's great for classic. I went into one house that I was showing, and the guy that owns the property there, I got to meet him, which was kind of cool. But I wish I would have known about the cars prior to. But anyway, because I would have asked to drive them. But he had two beautiful classic cars. He had a Mustang and a Camaro in there, or no, it was a Challenger. It was a Mustang and a Challenger. I think it was like 1960, 68 or something along those lines. Like beautiful. But the floor, that's what I looked at first, is the floor. And then I was like, that would be where I'd want my classic car.
Right.
So that's why I said home decor too, because in Burleson, I do see that a lot of people are utilizing those, those businesses that come out and decorate their whole entire house. I've seen it so much here in Burleson. So I do think that would be a great one to get established on there too.
It's good advice.
Well, we're starting to see, homeowner mindset is kind of shifting from, going from that urban lifestyle, wanting to be in the city, to now post-COVID, wanting to get away from the city and create this mini resort style life at their home. And so we're getting a lot of work orders for specialty products that are like that. Building a lazy river in somebody's backyard. I mean, some of the things we see are
I need a friend like that.
Yeah,
right.
We never know. To get back to what you were asking before, I had a call this weekend from someone that was on the concierge side that moved into a home a year ago. Just calls me out of the blue and says he needs a plumber, and he needs an electrician to set up 40 inset reset lights in his house, and so of course we farmed those out to our guys who were grateful. I'll mention this too. On the app, when you download it, it's available in all the major app stores, right? There's also right now, it's like an insane time for energy in the state of Texas. We do have a partnership with a company, Compare Power, who can compare current energy rates, and their link is listed on the front page of the app.
Oh, sweet.
So it's just another reason to have it, something you're going to use every year, because people are switching, every year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because the rates go up all the time. And you never know who, and you want to know who's in your area too. A lot of times they don't service your area, the ones that, so having a concierge service like that on a concierge web, I think that would be huge. Absolutely. And I was going to say, with those Facebook posts, I think what I'm going to start doing if I see those now is put Homester on there.
Right? Hey, please.
Just
these guys already took the work out of it.
Yeah.
And they didn't even go to high school with you.
Right.
You can trust them.
Exactly. I don't know how, I might not word it exactly like that, but I'll do really good. I promise. But yeah, I want to shout out to Gina really quick. I believe your wife. She is listening. Hey, girl. All right. So she said, whoa, Homester Home Services. Go, Mark. Yeah. That's so cute. With hearts. Just so you know. And she did say that we were putting out really great points, and, just moving from different states, just and needing the, Homester can fill all the needs in your community, which I think is really awesome as well. And I love the local small business support. Yes, same here, girl. Hi. She's telling me hi. I miss you guys. We need to hang out more. All right. So a lot of us are such hard times right now. And I love seeing, and that's so true. A lot of small businesses, that's why I think that this is really big, that you guys do utilize a lot of small businesses, because in all actuality, they need it the most, right? Yeah. And if they're really providing a great service, and you guys have done the homework to see that they are doing that I feel we need to use them for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've got a soft spot in our heart for the entrepreneur side, and the small business owner who's a true entrepreneur that's taking those risks. Those are the guys that we want to align with, because that's who we are.
Yeah.
So it's kind of as simple as that. We want to help them as much as we can, and we can talk to their owner. We don't have to go through 4 weeks of meetings if we're going to a big giant conglomerate. We want to, hey, I want to talk to the owner. Are you a good guy?
Right.
Let's ask you some questions, not your secretary.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much again for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
You guys go check out their website. We're going to have it listed.
Good job, guys. I love it. Great product.
All right,
We'll
bye, guys.
refer them to you.
Have a great week.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.